computer. There we go. Okay, so welcome everybody to Art 196. This is the introduction to web design. It still has it listed with Dreamweaver and Flash. Flash no longer exists, and I tried updating with curriculum the class a few years ago and was having issues. So it's principally a class taught on Dreamweaver. However, we use other applications as well now. I give you an introduction to 3 different approaches to web design. So this is how the class will work. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Like so. Okie doke. So this is an example of one of the lessons that you will do in Dreamweaver, okay, in order to create your website from the ground up. I use an older version of the textbook, 2017, and I will explain more about that a little bit later. In addition to that, we use another program called MobiRise, which is, I presume everybody can still see this. MobiRise is a drag and drop program, website builder that allows you to very easily put together a website in a matter of hours. The website that we'll be creating in Dreamweaver is going to take us several weeks because you will have to learn a little bit of HTML, and you're going to have to learn CSS and how to structure and style your website, as I said, from the ground up. So this will be another website that you will create. The third one will be, and I'm looking up here, and while we're doing the lessons in Dreamweaver, you're going to create a website using Wix.com. Wix website, you will be using the free version. It's an online website builder. And it too is basically drag and drop, but nothing that you, with the exception of images that you may use, everything that you do on this website is created online. It's not on your computer at all. Okay, so Wix will be another version of that. So let me kind of start from the beginning and tell you what you're going to need to do, especially for today. So I'm going to go back to my, got to make sure I have everything here. I'm going to go back to this website, and then I'm going to go ahead and click here. So I have multiple websites. So this is where you need to be today. Okay, so we have a number of participants, which is good today. So there we go. Make sure that everybody's here. So what you're going to do today is I want you to, you have access to my class through my website at kmart66.com. And also through the school's Canvas, and that's what we see here, okay? So if I were to go back to our class here, website, Dreamweaver, okay? This is our home page on Canvas. So if you want to get started with the class, you can do that today. You can go to modules, and everything that we did last semester is available and recorded. And I'm going to follow the same approach this semester. So here you have the online syllabus, and here you have another one that's available on my website. Everybody should have watched the orientation video. If you haven't, please do that today. And this is what we're doing today. This is lecture 1. This is our first video. This would be from last semester. Okay, so you can take it week by week, lesson by lesson, and lecture by lecture to complete this class if you so choose. Okay, but where I would like to focus my attention is to go back to my website here. This is the one that I created for myself, and then I created for all of my classes. So when you go to Kmart 66, this is my homepage. If you look under the Kirk Miller Art tab, this is about me and my resume and the artwork that I produce. If you go to Gallery 935, it's I created this website for my experimental and new work. That was one of the purposes that I did that. The other reason that I did it was to use MobiRise and to show you that this is an alternative way of building websites very quickly. And it's a very easy approach. This one happens to be a single page website. So go down. You can see that I have an artist statement, a biography, and I have samples of my artwork. And when you click on the sample, it enlarges and you can scroll through the images. And then you can go back. And then you can also, with the links at the top, you can go to contact us at the bottom. Okay, and if you want, you can put in your name, email, phone number, and a message, and you send the form to me, and I will receive it by way of email. So this is just another way of working. Okay, so let me go back to this website. So that's what this one is. I also have a blog. I really don't submit much in the way of writings to this. It's been a while since I've done that. And then also I have Kirk's classes, and this is where you should spend most of your time under this tab. And you'll notice, in addition to the link to the orientation video that I have on Canvas, this is the same link here that will take you to the YouTube video. All the YouTube videos that I'm creating for the tutorials for this class can be linked either on Canvas, or you can go to the playlist here for our class. Okay. But where I'd like to focus our attention today is to go to handouts and weekly syllabi. So let's go to the weekly syllabi. And I'm going to go ahead and scroll up here. And let's look over to the left first. So in order to complete this class, you need to have access to Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver is an Adobe product, so you have to have the cloud-based subscription to Adobe. So you can either go directly to Adobe from here, but what I recommend is that you go to collegebuys.org. Okay, that is where you will have access to a discounted price. So if I click there, it opens up collegebuys.org. And now you can shop as a student, faculty, staff, or for colleges. Well, you're a student, so you're going to go ahead and you're going to click Shop Now. And it takes you to this page. And then you select the state, and we are in California. Okay, and you submit, and it will take you yet to another page. And the third one over is the Creative Cloud, Adobe Creative Cloud. And you have a choice. You can sign up for 6 months or 1 year. And it will give you access to a large number of Adobe applications. The two that we will need for this class are, the most important one is Dreamweaver, but you also need access to Photoshop as well. We will use Photoshop to prepare the images that you'll use to place inside your pages inside Dreamweaver. Now, if I click on this, make it Adobe Creative Suite, again, it shows you that I can buy a semester license, which is 6 months, for $40, or the annual license for $80. So if you plan on taking classes in the fall or continuing to use Adobe for any reason, as long as you're a student, you will not find a better buy anywhere. So I would, if you can afford it, I would go for the $80 approach. If you can't, then you'll need to subscribe to the minimum $40 approach. Okay, so that's the first thing that you'll need to do, is make sure that you obviously have a computer because you're logged on with me right now. You have access to the internet. You should have a storage device of some kind. I would recommend having one in addition to the hard drive on your computer, that maybe you use Google Drive to store your files, or if you have an external hard drive, just for backup, but not for me. They will not be for me. Okay, so let's go back here. So we have that. That's collegebuys.org. So that will give you access to the Adobe Suite. You'll also notice that I'm offering webinars on Zoom, so you need to have zoom.us. So there's another link to Zoom. Obviously, you have Zoom right now, you have access to it. Here are a number of web tools that we will be using throughout this semester. Okay. So a couple of them that will be the most important, as I mentioned, that we will be using Wix. Wix is free. It's an online source that I just showed you. So here's a link to the Wix website. And here's also, I mentioned that we will be using MobiRise. So here is a link to the MobiRise website. You can either purchase MobiRise or you can have a free version of it. And I recommend that you use the free version, which is limited, but it is really a full comprehensive website builder, even in its limited use. You just don't have access to all of their templates. Okay, so we have that there. And then when you use Dreamweaver and you use MobiRise, those two programs, when we use those, we create your website, the website locally on the computer, offline. And you'll need a means to publish that. So to publish that, you need to find a host. The host that I use for my websites, I can't think offhand, who do I use? I use GoDaddy.com. But, and I pay for that service about $100 a year. But anyway, there is a free service. And so what you will probably use, we used to use 000webhost.com, but instead I think the free service is gone now. So I've added another one called Infinity Free. And later on this semester, you'll have to subscribe, or you'll have to get an account with them. And that will allow you to either use their service, or we can upload the files through Dreamweaver using FTP through Infinity Free to publish the website. And then there's a variety of other things that we'll be using. That, for example, to build slideshows, again, the WOW slider is made by the same people who make MobiRise. And again, that can be downloaded for either Mac or PC. It's a free version, or you can also purchase it if you so choose. So that will be another one that we use. If you want to know what the W3C is, it's kind of a consortium of individuals throughout the world that determine the standards for website or web building. because web building by default is open source. It is not owned by anyone. We'll be talking about that more a little bit later in the semester. If you use Firefox, as I do, you can go here for Firefox add-ons. Later in the semester, when you're generating your own website and you want to get the little icon that goes up here in the tab, if you want to create your own custom one, that would be a favicon generator. If you want to check your website for people with color blindness, you can go to the Cold Blender. That's a website that's useful. Juicy Studio is also another good website for checking to make sure that there's adequate contrast between the color that you've chosen for your text and the background, and make sure that it is compatible for people with ADD, or not AD, yeah, with the ADD, American Disabilities Act. Make sure that people who have difficulty seeing can view your website adequately. So these are pretty much all the things that all of these links that we will be using. Then in addition to that, we're going to scroll down to the bottom here and find our class, Part 196, Web Design with Dreamweaver. That's what I titled it now. And as you have already discovered, this is the link to the website, or to the webinar that you're viewing right now. And Thursday, this will be another link. They do time out when the webinar is over, but both of these really are the same link. It's one that I have repeated twice a week for the next 18 weeks. It's kind of important, even though I have a syllabus online, an 18-week syllabus, and you can look at the syllabus on Canvas, and you can also, track it week by week. I like to be a little bit flexible with my classes. So each week I will post on my website what we will be doing. So you can see today is simply an introduction to the classroom procedures, and your assignment, which I'll talk about in a couple of minutes, will be to create a Google Drive folder. On Thursday, we're going to, until you have access to the Adobe Suite, we're going to start with preparing files for the web, and I will talk about that. So we're really kind of jumping ahead in the lessons. Why they choose to do this at lesson 10, I don't know, but that's what we're going to do. So once you get the textbook, read over lesson 10, and we're going to focus on the aspect of the particular part of the lesson that covers preparing images for the web. Now, the book that we will be using is, as I mentioned, is the 2017 version of A Classroom in a Book by Jim Myvold. Okay, and there is the ISBN number. Now, if you want to know where to get access to this, since it is a few years old, since this is 2021, just simply click on this link and it should take you to Amazon.com. And you can see that in terms of the paperback, it only has, or buy new, it only has one left. But if you go to the Kindle version, it should have unlimited number available. And if you do have any difficulty accessing it, please let me know. And I will try to make my online version available. Okay, so you can either get a paperback version or a Kindle version. And this is the version that we will be using. Now, the reason I'm using this is this is the last version that they used to actually build websites from the ground up using HTML and CSS, which is cascading style sheets. So we will be using HTML5, and we'll be using CSS3, cascading style sheets version number 3, which are the latest versions, to build this last website in Dreamweaver. What they have done in more recent versions of the Classroom in a Book is they have modified it so that you can actually build the website directly from Photoshop. But and it's a good way to work. I can't discount it. It's a very useful way to build websites. But it requires that you have previous knowledge of Photoshop, and there are no prerequisites for this class. And it really kind of glosses over HTML and it glosses over CSS. And I think it would be better if you had a stronger foundation in those two areas. So that's why I've chosen to stick with the 2017 version of the book. Okay, so that's the book that you'll need. What else have we got going here? So next step, I mentioned that what we're going to do today is you need to save your files or create a Google Drive account. So I don't know how many of you actually have a Gmail account. I would recommend that if you don't, if you're using Yahoo or you're using the school's website or whatever, that you create a Google account. A Gmail account. It's free. And so what you will be doing, let's go ahead and I'm going to go to mine here. So I'm going to go to my Google Drive here. Okay. And you can see that I have a number of folders for my classes from previous semesters and the current semester. The current semester is this one here. This is the folder. Okay, it's art. Scroll down here. It's Art 196, Spring 2021. And when I double click on it, you can see that I have, here are all the lessons for Dreamweaver CC 2017 that you can download today if you wish. And you can see that I've created a folder for myself, and I want each of you to create a folder as well. So what you're going to do is you're going to email me today at kirkmillerart@gmail.com. That's kirkmillerart@gmail.com. And I will in turn send you an invitation to have access to this Google Drive account. Once you have access to it, then what I want you to do is to create a new folder in here with your name, as I have created my name here, first and last name. The one that I use here, I use camel casing. I start with a lowercase and then I end, with a capital letter in the middle of it, no space. That's my preferred way of naming files. And how you create a new folder on Google Drive is, once you have access to it, is simply right click and it says, do you want to create a new folder? Okay, and it will prompt you and you're going to name it and you'll be good to go. So what you will do at least for the first lesson, when we create images for the web, is that you will place them in your Google Drive folder. However, having said that, most of the files that you will be sending me will be by way of email, because they will be links to your published websites, so that when you create an account on Wix.com, and as you're working on that and maybe in the intermediate or stages or in the final website, what you'll do is email me at kirkmillerart@gmail.com, and you'll put in the title of the email, your name, and then it will be it will be Wix website, and that's it. In the content, you'll put the link, and then I will be able to click on the link and see what you've built. Okay, and then we can have, at that time, we'll be able to discuss what you've made and critique it, and I will be able to grade it. That will be true for the MobiRise website as well, and that will be especially true for the Dreamweaver website. And as you complete the lessons in Dreamweaver, you will publish them 2 different times. After you complete lesson 7, you will publish that, and that's when you will need the Infinity account. And then when you've completed lesson 11 or 12, you will take that lesson and publish that. And I will assume that you have done all the previous lessons leading up to each of those to give you full credit for each of those. So what I'm going to do at the moment, let me make sure that when you do email me to invite you to the Google Drive account, and I didn't specify this in my my orientation video, is that when you email me, and you create an email in the subject, you put your name, Art196, and then just put Google Drive. So I know whose, account this is going to be, what class it's for, and what the purpose of the email is, so that you want me to add you to the Google Drive folder for this class, since I have multiple folders for all of my classes. Okay, so I'm going to pause the recording at the moment and see if there are any questions from you. So let me go in here. So I'm going to pause the recording. So here is an example of how to gain access to the videos. Another way besides Canvas is go to Kirk's Classes and go to video tutorials. It will take you to my YouTube channel, and it's taken a moment to load it. Okay, and you can see that here are all the creative playlists that I have. And this is one that I created last semester, but it will be good for you today as well. Okay, and I will probably create an additional one, so there'll probably be 2 playlists for all of you to use. But, if you want to play all, or just want to go there to see what's in the playlist, as I said, the playlist is probably listed in reverse order, going from the most recent one that I created to the first one down at the very bottom. Here's the orientation lecture. This was for fall, but it really will be very similar to what we're doing right now. There may be some variation, but not much. Okay. And then on Thursday, I will go over again step-by-step optimizing images for the web. And so you may or may not want to participate. Let me go ahead here. And it looks like this is, I don't want to play that. Okay. Do I have any others that are playing here? I hope not. I very well may. Hold on one second. I've got something else going on there too. Damn it. My apologies. Let me go ahead and pause recording. Okay, so we're back, continuing with the recording. But that's really pretty much all that I wanted to cover today. Check both, as I said, the weekly syllabus that I have on my website, and check for the current recordings of the webinars to know that what projects will be due, what we're working on that particular week. As I mentioned, I try to be a little bit flexible, given the nature of all of my classes, is that each class has a different dynamic, and some semesters we go very quickly, and some semesters we go very slowly through the semester. So in order to be able to change pace and maybe modify the lessons a little bit in order to tailor them to suit all of your needs, and that's what I'm going to do. Okay, and make sure that it's available to everybody. So if that's it, there aren't any questions. we'll call it a day, and I will see all of you Thursday. Or if you choose to, you can, and keep in touch with me weekly. Either check in by way of the webinar and just say I'm here. And if you choose to watch it, fine. And if you don't, you don't, because you can always watch the recording, or email me so I know that you're still alive and you're in the class. And that will be pretty much it. Okay. So if there aren't any further questions, that will be it. You're welcome to leave, and I will see all of you, or some of you, maybe all of you on Thursday. Okay, so bye-bye for now. So Andy, you wanted to add the class, correct? Or no, maybe it was somebody else. Oh, let me check the, yeah. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm gonna end this in the class now.